Okay, here we go. Obesity part 3. What do we do about it? So I can think of 5 things that if we change these 5 things, we would all be a whole lot healthier. And by the way, beware when anybody ever reduces something this complicated to a list of 5 items. But here's what I think. I personally think that weight is not our issue. I think that visceral fat is our issue. And I think that if we could adjust our perspective a little bit, instead of looking at outward markers of disease like obesity, we could evaluate people for internal processes that are going wrong. Like, we figured out a way to measure visceral fat, if I can see the plaques in your arteries, that kind of stuff. We would be a whole lot better at aiming interventions toward people who really, really need them. Because the obese people in our society are not the only ones that are unhealthy. Sometimes they're not the least healthy, in fact. There are some skinny people out there that y'all are ticking time bombs, and you need to know that. So what we're really talking about here when we're talking about reversing the obesity epidemic, that's not really what this is. What this is reducing the death from lifestyle-related disease epidemic. That's the thing. And obesity has become like the catchphrase, but in fact, that's not the problem. The problem is death from lifestyle disease. So let's talk about a couple of things that if we just did these 5 really super simple things, I think it would get a whole lot easier. Number 1, freaking stop drinking your calories. Stop. No soda, no juice, and grandmas, hang on, because you're gonna fall out your chair. How about minimal milk? Okay. And I'm not crazy for saying this. Here's the deal. Juice is entirely sugar. You might as well drink a damn soda. Just drink a Coke, because you'll get caffeine out of it. Orange juice, apple juice, grape juice, drink a soda. It's the same damn thing. From a nutritional perspective, it's the same thing. We've been raised to believe that a big glass of juice in the morning is good for us. It is not. You might as well drink a damn soda. Milk. All right, look. Humans are the only species in the world that drink milk as adults, and the only species that drink the milk of another species. Milk is food for infants of your same species. You're drinking baby cow food, and it is designed to make baby cows grow. It's not really designed for us to take it in. Milk is relatively high in sugar, actually. The sugar is lactose. It's not sucrose, which is table sugar. It's not fructose, which is, the high fructose corn syrup stuff. But lactose still processes in your body, in your cells, just like sugar. It has the same calorie content. It has the same issues associated with it. There is nothing magical about drinking milk for kids or for adults. If you enjoy it, drink it as a treat. I don't care. But please do not continue to live your life believing what we've been told, which is that milk is absolutely necessary for your health. It is not. You want calcium? You can go with other dairy products if you want. There's also vegetables like broccoli that have calcium in them. There's other sources for these things. We just have to go out and find them. But we have been under the spell of milk for a really long time, and it's gotten us off target. What I hear a lot of is, oh, he drinks milk. How much milk? Well, this kid's drinking 32 ounces of milk a day. That's a lot of sugar. It's a lot of sugar. Your kid's drinking sugar. No wonder we're having weight problems. No wonder we're having health problems. No wonder I'm seeing signs of diabetes. When we're consuming all of these, what are relatively empty calories? Stop drinking your calories. Number 2, stop focusing on fluff. We get caught up in low fat, low carb, low fat, low carb. I don't even, look, You want to know what you need to eat to stay healthy? This is really simple. Look at your grocery store. Think about the foods that are located around the edge of the store, right? So produce, meat, maybe dairy. Remember, not all dairy products are evil, by the way. Greek yogurt's a great source of protein. Cottage cheese is a great source of protein. Good sources of calcium, but they contain less sugar, so you're a little better off. But yeah, you got protein, meat, maybe dairy around the outside, produce. That's where you want to be. All those aisles in the middle of the store, that's manufactured food. So if you want to know how to stay healthy, let go of the low fat, let go of the low carb, let it go. And start eating foods the way that nature made them. Now, I'm not telling you that you can't eat frozen produce, because frozen produce is every bit as good as fresh produce, maybe better in some cases because of the fact that they can pick it when it's its ripest. Frozen produce is fine. Frozen fruit is good. Frozen vegetables are great. Frozen meat is often sold in bulk, and if price is an issue for you, the freezer section is a great place for you to hang out. But in general, produce, lean meats, some dairy products, whole grains, that means brown rice, whole wheat in reasonable quantities. This is how we stay healthy. Let go of the substitute foods. Please let go of your cauliflower crust pizza. Let it go. And I know some people really love it. Look, somebody once told me it tastes just like regular pizza, and I gotta find that person and punch them in the face, because it's not true. Number one. Number two is, the problem with these substitute foods is that, first, when we remove one thing, we gotta replace it with something else. Texture-wise, when we take fat out of foods, manufacturers are replacing it with sugar to keep the texture pleasant. If they take out the sugar, they put in fat. This is not helpful. Second of all, when you start making healthy substitutions, you have to understand that your brain does not expect to be getting cauliflower. You eat pizza, your brain expects to be getting carbs and fat. When you deprive it of those carbs, you're not going to get the same satisfaction, the same fullness from cauliflower crust pizza. So what happens is, if you normally eat 2 slices of pizza, you're going to eat 2 slices of your cauliflower crust pizza, and you're not going to be satisfied. And you're going to eat 2 more. And at that point, calorie-wise, you probably should have just eaten the 2 regular pieces of pizza in the first place. But we get caught up in this fluff of doing things to be healthy. We know what we need to do. Lean meats, fruits and vegetables, beans, lentils, whole grains, and stop with the manufactured foods. So the next one is, stop with the manufactured foods. You don't need them. They're convenient and they're delicious, and they are killing us. If we could take even half of those foods out of our diet and replace it with fruits and vegetables and lean meats and whole grains, we would be so much better off. Just that simple move. And by the way, at no point here have I talked about portion sizing, right? Because I hear that a lot, like, oh, we need to watch our portion sizes. You know what? I think that's kind of crap. I think that if you stick to lean meats, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, some dairy products, you could probably eat almost anything you want and stay reasonably healthy. Because when you're in those food groups, becoming obese is very difficult. You've got to eat a lot of apples. That's a lot of apples. That's a lot. So I don't necessarily think that if we stick to healthier foods, portion control becomes a lot less of a problem. You can eat as many fruits and vegetables as you want. Go. That in and of itself is freedom that our current focus on these random diet of the day things aren't giving us. Instead of that, just start choosing the foods around the edge of the grocery store and see how you do. And I promise you, it's a lot easier than trying to count carbs, which is really, really, really annoying. Okay, number 4, you need to get moving. We all need to get moving. But the problem is that we've got this thing in our heads that exercise is unattainable. You want to know what's great exercise for your kids? Mopping the floor works great. They're young, like you got teenagers. Guess who gets to haul the laundry basket up and down the stairs? Because I ain't doing it. Let your teenagers do it. There are so many ways to move your body and stay healthy and stay fit that do not involve going to a gym or running anywhere. Little kids belong on the playground. Big kids can go out and play. They can play sports. And if they don't want to do that, as far as I'm concerned, as your pediatrician, they can become your minions and you can have them do chores and they will get exercise that way. Gardening is hard on the body. Send them out and have them mow the lawn. All of those things count as movement, but we need to think about them and start using them as our exercise if that's what you have time for. If all you have time for is laundry, use it. Use it. And make your kids use it. Because that's really what we need. Now this requires you to parent your kids, okay? Because your kids don't want to do laundry, they want to play video games. But you know the password for the Wi-Fi router, right? So you pretty much control when they do and do not access these things. And sometimes you're going to have to take stuff away from them and kick them out on the playground for their own good. And that is okay. And they may not really like you that day. But I promise you, when they're 50 and they're not dying of cardiovascular disease, they are going to think about it, okay? Parenting is about doing the right thing, even when it's the hard choice. This is one of those places where you're going to potentially piss your kids off, but I promise you it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. The last one, and I can't say this strongly enough. Look, I don't care how much you weigh. I don't care. I don't care how unhealthy your diet is. You are a valuable person, no matter what your diet, no matter what your exercise patterns, you're a valuable person. And if you look at me and say, look, I know my kid's obese, but there's really nothing about our lifestyle we're interested in changing. Awesome. Now we understand each other. All I ask is that you own your choices. Your health is not outside of your control. It is well within your control. You got to take control of it though, and own the decisions that you make to make your health better or worse. And if you tell me, look, I don't want to exercise, all right, I'm not going to make you. I'm not going to make you. We'll work around it. We'll figure it out. But what is really difficult to work with as a doctor is people who tell me one thing, fully intending to do something completely different. I can't help you when you do that. So look, just come clean. I know all kinds of embarrassing stuff about my patients anyway. There's nothing that you can tell me that's going to surprise me, but we really need to be honest with each other. What can we do on the medical side to make this go better? Number one, cannot act like a jackass. So when somebody comes, for providers who may be watching this, when someone comes into your office with an elevated BMI, shut up and listen. Listen. Ask them what they think the problem is, and listen. Most families will tell you exactly what the problem is, and engineer around that. Put your judgment away. It's not your role to judge this family. It's your role to help this family. It's not your role to be judgmental. So when you get that snotty voice when you talk about, well, your child's obese, look, your credibility is shot, and they're not going to listen to you because you're being an ass. Stop it. I promise you, 2 minutes of listening to what families have to say about what they think their obstacles are is worth 5 minutes of you lecturing them about crap they already know. Oh, and educate yourselves. Stop promoting health myths. Please stop making people drink milk, for the love of God. Please, please start focusing on what is actually workable for families, because a lot of what we recommend is just not. I have pretty good financial resources. I won't lie about that. I'm a doctor. I haven't always been a doctor. I wasn't raised by a family of doctors. But right now, I have pretty good resources, and I can get away with doing some stuff that I know other people can't. And those are luxuries to me. Acknowledge your luxuries, and acknowledge for a minute that you may not totally understand what your patients are going through because you may never have lived it. It doesn't mean you can't show them compassion, because here's the thing, right? Nobody wants to be obese. People can accept and love themselves the way they are, which is awesome, but nobody in general chooses to be obese. I don't know very many people, anybody really, who's ever made that choice. You get there somehow and you deal with the hand you're dealt. It's not really something people choose. And so acknowledge that sometimes we end up in a position we didn't expect and we got to dig ourselves out. But if my patients can hear for a moment the fact that I'm telling you that your child's overweight or obese from a place of love and concern for your well-being, and if my physician colleagues and myself can in fact do that from a place of love and concern and not a position of judgment, I think we're all going to be better off for it. If you want to talk about really specific stuff that you can do to kind of tweak your diet and your exercise plan a little bit to make this more successful, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to kind of work through a general plan with my patients on how to make these kind of lifestyle transformations. I will warn you, I'm going to focus on the family, not just on the kid who's obese, because it really does take a village. If you need something in this regard, let me know. If you want to know about kind of where I live in terms of all of these things, I'm happy to kind of tell you guys my story. Just PM me and I'll give you some more details. But look, this is hard. We didn't get here overnight. We're going to get through it, and we're going to get through it and be healthy. I will help you any way I can. Just let me know that you're ready for that help, and we're there. All right, guys. So I think that we're going to call that the end of obesity for the day. If there's something else you want me to talk about, let me know. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys next week, and I hope you have a great weekend.